Welcome back to another season of the Relentless Podcast presented by Baptist Health. I'm your host, Patrick Murphy, this season, and joining me is the head coach of your Jacksonville University women's basketball team, Darnell Haney. Coach, how are we doing today? Happy Wednesday.
Thanks, Patrick. Doing well, man. How about you?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Glad to be talking with you about how the Dolphins have been doing this year and talk about everything going on with the program. So we'll just kind of go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing is just everything that's going on with COVID-19 and how this season has been like unlike anything previous. So just go ahead and talk a little bit about how, preparing for this season was different, the adjustments you've had to make in season this year with practices and scheduling and just the logistics of having to play basketball in the COVID era.
Man, it's been honestly, it's been a whirlwind. It's been crazy. We've had some shutdowns and some quarantines, and we've had a couple of injuries that have happened during this time, along with a change in schedule, a change in practice schedule, canceling games, having to have some games postponed. And this is not just here at Jacksonville. It's been all over the country, man. It's just been kind of a consistent adjustment that you have to make. You have to make consistent adjustments, just like in a basketball game. You got to be prepared to make consistent adjustments as the days go. So I can have something planned for practice this week, and next thing you know, I find out that we don't have a player. Or I can have a practice planned or a scout plan for a certain team, and I find out that we may be not playing that team this week. So it's just something that we have to be consistently on our toes and be ready to adjust to. And I told my team that, and our team has to be ready to adjust. We had a situation this weekend where we didn't have a player all week for practice, and we find out that she's cleared to play the game on Saturday. So a lot of the scouting assignments that we had went over in practice during the week, she wasn't there for. So we just got to be prepared for that. So it's really important that our system is in place as much as possible to where we can go out and play, especially with these back-to-back games.
You just touched on it right there with the new ASUN scheduling format this year, playing games on back-to-back days, single site weekends. Obviously, first time out this past weekend against North Florida. What do you think of the new format? How do you think that's going to affect league play moving ahead? And just kind of what were your thoughts on that new format after this first weekend?
All right, just with the first weekend, we have to take into account that their bodies are tired from the game before, so we got to take more into account. I think, especially in that first quarter, playing that game, first quarter of the second game, we just weren't there at all, right? And just not even just their bodies, just them mentally prepared to go in and play another game. That was something we weren't used to. So we got to get used to it. We got to get used to it in a hurry because we got it again this weekend. I think that they kind of understand it now, but more so the players that we were able to get back from injury and from COVID, they'll be understanding it now more than ever. You talked about the return of Aaron and Johnny. They hadn't played a game all season. Johnny hasn't played since December of last year. Aaron hadn't played a game at all this year. So just having them back in the flow of a real game atmosphere was something to see when they came back on a positive note. I know them moving forward, they got a kind of a grasp of what it's going to be like, how they need to prepare for it, and we'll be good to go.
You just mentioned Aaron Wilson and John A. Stewart making their season debuts this weekend. John A. had a big game Saturday, 15 points in her first action in more than 400 days. Aaron having a monster weekend, 26 points in each game. Shot nearly 50% from the floor, hit 3 threes in each game. That definitely, from your point of view, had to be great to see her come back and not necessarily show any signs of rust, to be able to jump right in and play considerable minutes and be productive in those minutes.
I mean, with Aaron and John, it's just a testament to the people they are. I think Aaron works harder than anybody. She just goes in and puts her pedal to the metal and goes out there and works. And she works on her game consistently. She's always shooting. She's always ready to take ownership in her game and ownership in being an asset to us scoring wise. She just got to get back in the flow of things and how we do things defensively. But she was phenomenal. John, at game one, she was phenomenal. She hit some shots, but we just got to. It was, again, she hadn't played in 400 games, so the consistency piece has to be there a little bit more, because in the next game, I don't think she was there mentally most of the game. But at the same time, it was exciting to have both of them back to mesh with a lot of the group. And I think a lot of it is going to be the mesh piece, right? We didn't have really a non-conference to mesh as a group. So our meshing is going to happen with some bumps like we took this past weekend, where we show flashes of what we can really be, and then we show flashes of what we don't want to be. So we just got to make sure that we're locked in continuously and consistently throughout weekends now.
Yeah.
I think there's a big gap of the mesh that we have made as far as rotations, as far as who does what, and knowing each other as basketball players, that we didn't get a chance to get because we didn't have people on the floor in practice and in games.
Yeah, for sure. And just talking about that, you said, having those North Florida games is finally an opportunity to get more people in the rotation and kind of see what different looks of personnel groupings on the floor and everything are like. And, didn't have a serious non-conference schedule, and to be honest, didn't really have a whole lot of players in the first part of the season, to be honest.
Right.
The first couple games, it had some players that were out with injuries. Some people got bumped and banged up in those first couple games, and you come out for the home opener against Florida International. You dress 6 players for that game. You finish the game with 4. It's still a very close game. Losing by only 5 in that game, and then kind of one of the storylines of the year so far, the call going out for a taxi squad of players, and having student athletes from several other JU women's teams come back to campus after they'd already gone home for the holidays. Student athletes from women's soccer, softball, women's rowing, women's lacrosse, and beach volleyball all jumping on a plane, jumping in a car, and coming back to Jacksonville, coming back to campus, getting tested, and being able to help out and practice and kind of help get you guys through the end of 2020 and into 2021. So just kind of talk about how that whole deal played out.
And those kids were tremendous, and it's a testament to the coaches here at Jacksonville, a testament to our athletic director and our SWA, our athletic director, Alex Ricker Gilbert, and our SWA, Lauren Sebas, who actually spearheaded that whole thing, man. And I'm sending that email out, or the back call, so to speak, and we needed some people in for bodies, because when we took the floor to practice for the couple games that we played with the players from the other teams, before we took the floor for practice with them, we had maybe 5 players that were ready to practice, 6 players, at the most, that were ready to practice. And we couldn't get better. Like, we hadn't played 5-on-5 scrimmage. We didn't play 5-on-5 scrimmage in practice all year. Mm-hmm. So being able to have them come in and be part of our program was tremendous. I mean, they helped us out tremendously. I know Casey came in and had a great game on the floor, and a testament to her, testament to each and every one of those young women that came out to help us, because They were essentially vital to what we were trying to do at the time, because if not, we wouldn't be able to play.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Casey. You know, she came off the bench in that game against Flagler, played 32 minutes in that ball game, and those were some quality minutes that she put in. I think go ahead and look at that. Yeah, I mean she didn't score any points, but she did have 4 rebounds, couple good plays on the defensive end, couple steals, couple assists that led to some key baskets, including Desharie's late 3 to kind of ice the game. So, those 5 student athletes, Rena Mitchell, Melanie Carter,
Oh my God,
Logan Gonzalez, and
Haley Holloway, man.
Haley Holloway. Yeah, definitely living up to the core values of Jacksonville University athletics.
Absolutely.
And just, the campus rallying behind your team, the other student athletes rallying behind your team, the support of everybody, faculty and staff to, make sure that you could go out and compete at a high level.
No question. And we were able to do that with the help of them, man. And I'm so grateful for them and their coaches for allowing that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Talking about some of the players that are on the team, had playing shorthanded early in the year. You had some players that had to see some extended playing time. Some newcomers, some returners having to take on some larger roles. One of those newcomers was Desharie Graham, who we just mentioned. Came in, played I think 40 minutes in 3 straight games at one point. Doing it all on, pulling down rebounds, scoring points. Just kind of talk about what have you seen out of Shari this year that you've really been pleased with?
I just like her tenacity defensively when she's on the basketball, and then her anticipation skills defensively have been really good. One of the things that I want to give her a shout out about, man, she's really worked on her 3-point game, her being able to shoot the ball from the perimeter. When we recruited her, I was like, I asked her, coach, does she shoot at all? Because she always wanted to drive, man. And I told her that in this league, and in college, they're going to play off of you. So you got to be prepared to get out there and make shots. And she's done that. She's been able to get out and make some shots from the perimeter, which has really added to her game tremendously, man. Just being able to do that now, they have to play her a little bit more honest than they would have played her if she hadn't got in that gym and worked on that jump shot.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that going into or coming out of that North Florida weekend. I think she's 11 of 29 from 3-point range this year. One of the best 3-point shooters on the team, near the top of the ASUN. Hit a career high 4 threes against Flagler in a game in which she had a career high 25 points. So I think she's definitely been, a very fun player to watch and someone who's been a spark for your team so far.
Definitely.
Talking about someone who's been around for a while, Alexis Pierce. You're one of your seniors. You're lone 4th-year senior. Been in the program for a while. Been with you for a while. Didn't necessarily play as was an everyday starter her first few years. Has come in this year, started every game she's played in, has scored in double figures in 4 of her 6 games, really providing a leadership presence on the floor and kind of taking over some responsibility and just kind of talk about what you've seen out of AP so far this year.
I mean, I've just seen what AP was able to do. We got to remember AP played behind 2 ASUN all-conference players her last 4 years. I mean, her last 3 years, I'm sorry. So, I mean, she had Jazz Brown, she was behind, and then she was behind Shakayla Nevitt, both all ASUN performers, you know what I mean? So, like, her coming in, now it's her time. And she's been able to learn from them and now be able to kind of do some things on a higher level and more consistently. I definitely am looking for her to continue her leadership that she's been able to show on the floor. And she's got to continue to be a more aware defender out there on the floor. But her effort, you will never be able to question. You'll never be able to question her will to win a basketball game. We just got to make sure that we work on just her getting used to playing all those minutes and being looked at as one of the go-to people on our team.
Absolutely. We've seen that competitive fire a couple times, and then that towards the end of that Florida International game when her and Shari kind of took over and kind of spearheaded that late rally. And then just everything else through the season at this point, she's been battling through, showing some toughness, shaking off the bumps and bruises, and still going out and putting up 12 points a night. So, who else has stood out to you so far? I know we're not too far into the season and everything else that's been going on, but that's
what we've got. What we've got is we've gotten some players back that we have to. The biggest thing, and we talked about them, you got Shari, you got AP, you got Aaron, you got Johnny. And the biggest thing we have to do is we have to be more consistent at doing things that we can control. I think the consistency is going to come with more games and more experience. I think that's going to come. But I think those, 4, and then we've been able to rebound the ball at a high level. Kudos to our big players. You have Rachel, you got Stallings, you got Perry, you got just different people that were able to come in and rebound the ball at a high level. The biggest thing with them is you can rebound at a high level, but we got to make sure we're putting the ball in the basket. And we had 17 offensive rebounds against North Florida the other night, and we didn't convert many of them. And I know a lot of them were by those people. So we challenged them this week and making sure that they are able to finish inside because they can really do some damage. Also, you got the freshman, the baby KK Hayes is able to come in and give us some great minutes. And now she's not limping up and down the floor like she was doing before. Yeah. Now she's able to get out there and really show us what that the KK Hayes that we really, really know she is and know her potential can bring us.
Yeah, you mentioned KK. She was early in the season, 2-time ASUN Freshman of the Week, following 2 games, the FIU game, and putting up her best game of the season against Weber International. One of the games right before the break. In that game, she played 33 minutes, went 7 of 12 from the floor, had a season high 14 points. So, just seeing her being able to feel comfortable and knowing that she can compete at this level, I think that's big for any freshman.
No question. She's, we always knew she could play. She was we beat out a couple of big suitors for her to get her on the recruiting side of things. But just a good kid, man. She wants to get better. She wants to learn. And she's gonna go rebound everything, and she's going to really get better at just her 10 to 15 foot game, being able to play some from there and make some more decisions out there on the floor, but continue to rebound that ball and put it back in for us, man. And she's going to be a really good player for us.
Absolutely. I know you just mentioned, building that team chemistry, being able to play more games, and hopefully we get to keep playing more games. This weekend we're back at home at Swisher for the first time in the new year. North Alabama on deck. Not necessarily having a great year record-wise. They're 3-10 overall, 2-2 in the league, but that's still a team that you can't look past. And this is only be the fifth and sixth matchups all time with them since they transitioned up from the Division II ranks. What are you kind of working on in practice this week to get ready for the Lions?
Yeah, and records can be deceiving, man. That's a good team. They have some phenomenal shooting on the perimeter. They do a good job of pushing the tempo and making you play fast, and it's something that we are excited about because we know we want to play fast, but they just do a good job of running their offense, pushing the tempo, making you kind of play defense. You're going to have to, chase some of their shooters around, and you got to be ready to get back in transition defense, and you got to be just on point and locked in defensively so that you can get those stops so we can get out and run on our end. In practice, we're going to be working on a lot of times, like the first day of practice, when we go into it, preparing for this crazy kind of doubleheader or not doubleheader, back-to-back schedule that we have. The first day is a lot of us. So we work on a lot of the things that we have to get better at and be more, get gelled at more, and team chemistry, work on some team stuff. We work on some individual development stuff. And then we go into scout the next day. So we're going to scout. When we go into scout, we talk about how we are going to attack them, stop them, and make sure that we are the aggressor in the ball game. So, and then we have to talk about how we maintain that, right? How we are consistent at maintaining that throughout 2 days back to back. So our group has a gist of what it's like to play those 2 back-to-back games. They'll get a really good look at North Alabama and how we're going to attack them starting today, and we'll go from there.
All right. I do have kind of one other question for you. How has it been this year? You know, I obviously haven't been on the road too much, but how's it been playing in front of limited fans, no fans? What do you think of artificial noise, if there's been any piped in at any of the venues, and kind of how do you feel the game day atmosphere is at Swisher?
The game day atmosphere, I mean, it's good. I mean, we were able to get when we played in Swisher, what school wasn't in. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have as many of the students that were there that can be chanting defense and getting us riled. But as far as the way it's set up, man, I think I like it. Of course, I would want it to be to where we can bring the whole city in, but we can't do that. But at the same time, I think it's suitable. Now, we went down to Miami and they had some fans and some crowd noise and all that stuff, and I was like, what is going on? They had some going on in the stands, and I was like, what is this that I'm hearing? But it's basketball. I think one of the things that, the kids can't feed off of the crowd as much. And sometimes at away games, when we're playing those Power 5 schools, sometimes that's a good thing, mm-hmm. right? But at the same time, I think it's something that the girls have learned to get used to, more like a scrimmage, more so than anything now. Mm-hmm. But they've gotten used to it, and they'll be used to it even more going into the rest of the season. So we just want to play, man. We just want to play.
Yeah, and thankful for the opportunity with the following what the ASUN has laid out, what Jacksonville University has laid out, and
absolutely
just being able to continue to keep playing basketball, and
absolutely,
and hopefully keep things going, keep moving in a positive direction, and see what we can do as the season progresses and into the ASUN tournament.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up, I know this is something Scott did last year. Just kind of just a little fun segment towards the end. Talking about just kind of any good food you've had lately or anything else. So
let's talk. We talking food, huh? Let's see. What have I had? The other day I just had, shout out to Bono's Barbecue, man. Mm-hmm. I had some really good Bono's Barbecue, just a chicken and baked beans, man. It was just awesome. Maybe it's because I haven't had it in a minute, but it was amazing. Shout out to Bono's Barbecue on Merrill Road, man. They do an awesome job working with us, man. And mm-hmm. I went in and just had a lunch with myself. It was great. It was
there
great.
You go. That's something I've figured out since I've been down here in Jacksonville. Bono's, that's if you want some barbecue, that's the place to go to.
Absolutely.
I always get that 3-meat plate. Get some pulled pork, some sausage, some chicken.
Oh man,
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What about those first 2 road trips beginning of the year? Well, did the hotels have anything good for you?
Yeah. Well, like with this COVID era, man, we can't go out and eat as much.
Yeah.
So we just got some things to go. Mm-hmm. I'm from Miami, so and it was Thanksgiving time, so we had a Thanksgiving dinner at Coach Steph. Coach Steph's family owns a restaurant down there, mm-hmm. so they prepared Thanksgiving for us, and they kind of just shut down the whole restaurant and allowed us to eat in the whole restaurant because of COVID, man. And that was dope to be able to do that on Thanksgiving Day, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then at South Florida, we played a Saturday game early, so we really didn't get a chance. We ate Olive Garden for lunch, man, pregame meal, and then we went ahead and headed on home after the game. So, but that Bono's barbecue, man, was the best I've had this past couple weeks, because I hadn't had it in a long time. And shout out to Coach Steph's family in their restaurant, man. That food was amazing as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, things just hit differently when you haven't had them in a while.
No question. No question.
Well, Coach, I think that'll just about wrap it up for this episode of the Relentless Podcast, once again presented by Baptist Health. We'll be back next week talking about the games with North Alabama, and then looking ahead to next road matchup with perennial league favorite Liberty. So
awesome.
I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about after this week.
No question.
Everything else. Be sure to go ahead and follow Jacksonville Women's Basketball on Facebook at JaxWBB, and on Twitter and Instagram at Jax_WBB. Make sure to tune in to Jacksonville Basketball on ESPN Plus. Everybody have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and go Dolphins.
Enjoy. Go Dolphins.